notes if we need it. I told Deidre that we'll kind of get going today and get through this since some people are still on Christmas break, and thank you for calling in today and participating. So hopefully we won't take too much of your time. But to start, based on our agenda, we wanted to introduce everybody to Deidre that with the 13th hat as our conference, our vendor facilitator extraordinaire to help with planning.
Yay!
So I don't know if Deidre knows everyone, so could I maybe do a quick roll call around the room? It'll help with notes for Chaz, and then also just so Deidre knows who you guys are. And maybe tell her your name and where you're from. And I'll start with Cheryl.
I'm Cheryl Pierre from Livingston.
Carrie.
My name is Carrie Varner. I'm from Bismarck.
JC.
I am JC Inget. I am also from Bismarck.
Carol.
Carol Becker from Minot.
And Julie, I don't know, did you send out a invite to Colin and Renee?
Yes, I haven't heard from them, but yes,
Okay.
it was.
Okay.
And Chaz.
I'm Chaz. My split personalities live in both Jamestown and Medina now.
Oh, funny. So Deidre, you're on. Did you catch everybody's names? You probably met most everyone by now.
I think I have. I do see one icon that starts with the letter B. Who would that be?
I have no idea. I don't see it.
Do you see that on your end?
No.
I don't.
I see a D, which is you.
Okay.
And a C, which is
Chaz.
Chaz.
And then Cheryl. And
Oh,
Carrie.
is my video not on?
Nope.
Oh.
I can join.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I see others from chat, but I don't see anyone else included here.
I wonder if it's something with me then. Okay. Well, I apologize. I don't use a lot of Teams. My computer has never liked it, to be honest.
It's totally okay. After this, I kind of wanted to fill you guys in. So when our conference started last year, the all group wanted to do a self-advocacy conference. So within the all group's budget of the DD Council, they decided to use some of that money to do a conference. Deidre was actually hired last year as well to be the conference planner, and she got the contract again this year. So at our last meeting, it was asked, is this a subcommittee of the council? Is it its own committee? And Cheryl, I know I talked to some all board members, and I think you talked to your members, JC, but they feel that it's very much a self-advocacy run planning group where the council and you know the DCIL and designer Jeans and the ARC are kind of the supporters of your efforts, but you guys wanted to be kind of in the front seat of the planning and the steering of all of this. So I hope that's okay. I don't really know if we need motions or any of that kind of stuff for approval, but Cheryl really wanted to talk about that and talk about who would maybe want to chair and vice chair this committee, thinking someone from all and someone from yes should do that.
Well, I mean, I'm the only one on here as of right now from yes, but if Cheryl or Chaz wanted to chair and then I vice chair, that's perfectly fine too, because I know for sure that I will be able to make every meeting, or at least most meetings. I don't know about everybody else. So if we want to just take that and run with it right now, that would be great. What do you two think?
Julie?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, because what happened the last meeting, I felt that people would overriding us. So I was talking to Julie that I think we should have two chairs, so those chairs could help us. We go, no, this is ours.
Co-chairs?
Co-chair. So
Julie, are
Whoever
you
was
sorry, Cheryl, keep going.
But it had to be from yes and from all.
Yeah.
Because I want whoever come and join us and help us, I want them to know these are two avenues. This is our conference, the yes and the all.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know,
I
so
think Cheryl agreed with you to do like her and you or something, JC as a co-situation
Well,
or
yeah, that would make more sense because Cheryl's the president of the all group, right? So, and yeah.
so would that be okay? Would that
I
be
would be
okay
okay with that.
Okay, would that be okay to then moving forward, Deidre, you can work on agendas and planning and you can set up the meetings with Cheryl and JC and all of that. I'll just still notice them since we have council members that come and participate. But you guys can set it up in a platform that works better for you and you guys can kind of, since Deidre is now the facilitator, she'll kind of take the lead from now on and help us stay on track.
Got it.
That works. So you two will be my primary point people. And
Yes.
you know, you were both very heavily involved last year, so you kind of know how I send out the agenda in advance, and then I send out the notes afterwards for anybody that missed it. And
Yep.
Okay.
Do you have Cheryl's number, Deidre?
Yes, I'm pretty sure I do via email. I think Cheryl, I do.
yeah.
I know you have mine. We talk fairly regularly, but
Okay, that works. And then Chaz takes notes too. So I don't know if Deidre, if you want her to do that and give them to you and help you out or how you guys prefer to work that out.
Okay, we can talk about that. That would be great. Chaz, I probably would appreciate that.
yeah, I would too, actually, because my
Yeah.
handwriting's not great.
Yeah.
So, and I can't type very fast. So
Yeah.
there's that.
And then sometimes what happens is I'm typing and people think I know you can't even see my face today. I really did get ready today. I've been out running errands all morning, but I sometimes people see me typing and then they wonder if I'm, working, but it's me taking notes. So that would be great, Chaz, if you could do that.
Yes. I've
Okay.
started actually typing my notes versus handwriting them and then typing them.
Yeah.
And I get more notes done when
Mhm.
I type them because I type faster than I write.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Same. So maybe we want to add Chaz into that too right away, so then she can just be the note taker all the way through.
Okay. And if you're not here, Chaz will help out or something, but you're good at that. So, or Carrie's good at it too. She's usually here too. So. Okay, well, so we got that squared away. Let's get down to business. So we did hotel tours on probably the coldest day of the year last year, last week. Carrie, do you want to fill the group in on what we did and then talk about that? And JC, you can fill in when she's done since you saw on FaceTime some of the wheelchair accessibility stuff since Trevor's not here today. So go ahead, Carrie.
Well, Julie, Trevor, and I, and JC and FaceTime, we toured the Radisson and the Ramada. And both hotels were willing to work with us, which is a huge plus. And I know from the Radisson point of view, they're willing to comp more of the meeting rooms and everything for us. That way it's not as expensive as what it could be. And the rooms are pretty spacious. They can fit quite a few people in. And then the Ramada has actually done some construction work and remodeling, so it's not as icky as it once was. And there's at least one or two of the main ballrooms that can accommodate quite a few people in it. And the rooms are also getting redone too, so they're getting a little better as well.
So, my only concern, and I live here, so I wouldn't be staying there, but like Cheryl is out of town, and so many of our speakers will probably end up coming from out of town. My only concern was whether or not Cheryl or somebody in a power chair could get in between the beds that if they're staying there, And I did have Trevor show me how that would work because he is in a power chair and we are a little bit bigger than a manual chair. And so he was able to drive straight in, but then somebody, once they get them into bed, they're going to have to back their chair out. And I can't remember off the top of my head which hotel it was that had the 2 walk-in showers, but
That was Ramada. Ramada had an actual walk-ins.
to me, I mean, that was a sell to me right there. Because I know the struggles of getting in and out of a shower when it's not a walk-in shower versus getting in when it's when it is a walk-in shower. It's way easier. But my question is there a hotel that we are leaning towards more than the other one? Because as far as like conference rooms and stuff, I mean, the bigger conference room would make more sense, but
So, and I did call Trevor yesterday and just chatted with him, and I had told him that I would do that. He also he said both venues are fine with him. He simply did like the two. So I want to be able to give you guys a full picture. The two hotel rooms at the Ramada that had the showers accessible. So one thing I know, Cheryl, you guys stayed at the Radisson last time, and I am curious, was that a challenge for you? One thing that the Radisson told us they would do is they could remove some furniture from the rooms. So they mentioned they could remove the chair, the office chair, and possibly even the desk itself.
No, because with me and see if I can get on the other side by the window, I take the other side that is bigger. So I didn't have no problem.
You didn't?
No.
Okay, but you don't have an electronic.
No.
Okay.
I don't want to interrupt, but Crystal joined us. Hey, Crystal. We just were talking about Crystal's in the Grafton area. I just so Deidre can meet you officially, Crystal. And then we're just talking about hotel accessibility because we did tour 2 facilities last week to check the wheelchair accessibility and all of that. So that's what we've been talking about.
Okay. Sarah's like,
Not a problem. You're caught up now.
continue.
So JC, to answer your question, I want to give a couple more pointers. And the definition, what I think we learned from the hotel tours is the definition of accessibility is different with them. So Radisson has 8 accessible rooms. However, they do not have a roll-in shower. And so that's why I was kind of curious, Cheryl. And then the hotel rooms do seem to be slightly smaller. A couple of other differences is breakfast is not included. So for out-of-town guests, they would, if they came in the night before, which we did this at the conference anyway, we had a late breakfast, but if they wanted to eat beforehand, that would be an expense of the, reimbursable expense of the travelers. At the Radisson, we can do JC's point, we can do more breakouts. We have the option of, 2 downstairs, 3 upstairs, plus our main hall for a total of 5 breakouts going on. And then that ballroom foyer could be set up for food, for our lunches, our breakfasts, our vendors, if we do a social. So you've got, like an extension of space. Looking at the location, it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful day in September. So people are going to want to go outside and they're going to want to maybe take a stroll, downtown or do some shopping or whatever. It's close to the mall, close to downtown eating. The stage in the main hall does have a ramp. They said that if they didn't have one that was accessible, they would get one for us before September. And then they will not charge us to use the venue itself, and Carrie mentioned this, just the sleeping room. So they were willing to negotiate that rate. And then I compared square footage with the main hall, and honestly, they're so dang close. It's just Radisson has a couple of more rooms, so we can do smaller multiple breakouts at one time. The Ramada has a total of 4 rooms, and 2 of them have that roll-in shower. So we've got half the accessible rooms, but again, it's how do you define accessibility? And
Right.
what I did was I talked to Lindsay was out yesterday, who we met with, Julie and Carrie and Trevor last week, and Chaz, if you heard her speaking. She was out, but I did have some follow-up questions. One thing, they do not have an elevator, so all of our rooms would need to be reserved on the first floor. She thought she could guarantee that, but we would have to be very, very stringent on our registration deadline, because she said what they do is reserve so many rooms and then they start releasing them if we don't use them. So there's no elevator, but they do have, I think she said, like 60 rooms on their main floor. I do like that because you've got hotel rooms on the same floor as your breakout rooms. Breakfast is included, so they do like a waffle bar, just kind of a standard continental breakfast. And then there's only 3 breakout rooms. So we would have to utilize our main hall where we're serving lunch, breakfast, you know, all that would also have to serve as a full-on breakout room. From a look and feel, the one thing I don't like, and I mentioned this when we toured it, their ceilings are a lot lower. So a little bit concerned is if we have a speaker on that main stage and we have audience members that need to see closed captioning, that will be a challenge because you just can't have screens that are elevated. So that's something I just want to bring to the table. And then serving meals. There is a little entryway between our main hall and what they call their judicial room. It's not huge. I mean, you know, JC and Julie, it's where we check in for Power 100. You could do it, but it could be a little bit of a challenge. So those are some of the comparison contrasts. The other thing is Ramada does charge. Julie, she told me Chelsea thought it would be around $1,000 to $1,500, which is pretty minimal that was total. That wasn't per day. And then she does not think they have a ramp for the stage. Not to say that they wouldn't be willing to also purchase one. She said they have one at their Beaumont property, which we know is booked. So that was kind of some of the research I did between last week, Thursday, and today.
So kind of trying to narrow down a date. We really need to decide on a space today if we can, so we can lock in our dates. So does the group have a feeling? I know not everyone could be there for the tours, but kind of talking about the accessibility or the room options, the food options and elevators. Do you guys have feelings one way or another?
It feels like the Radisson's gonna work with us a little bit more. And probably it would be nice to have the roll-in showers, but it sounds like overall the Radisson is more accessible.
Yeah, and honestly, if it were me coming into a hotel, I would much rather have an elevator than a shower. But that's coming from my experiences. Because I can make anything work. It's not great, but I would
Not
much
me
rather
too.
I would much rather have an elevator.
And you're probably gonna need those extra accessible rooms more than those 8 versus 4.
Yeah.
Deidre, one thing to put on the list, the Ramada has that big parking lot. We know that. I know there was concerns brought up about the Radisson being downtown and parking and the ramp. So if they choose the Radisson, could we talk with them about, can they reserve more spaces on bottom level, or if they could somehow help with the parking situation? I don't know that, and we didn't ask when we did the tour.
I did actually visit with her when we were taking separate elevators, and I can't remember the new regional manager's name. The challenge with the ramps are, yes, they're both connected. they are owned by the city. So she was like, I think I don't know if we can. So I will follow up with her. It could be something we go back to the group and ask if anybody has any connections at the city. She did say that the diocese meets there on like a monthly, and they cone off areas. So she does think that that's an option, but she just didn't know the how. So I think we can dig into that.
I do know someone at the city. I can make a couple phone calls and check on that.
Okay.
I also think that Trevor has connections with the city.
Okay. Okay.
I'm city-wise, I mean, I'm not from that city, but I know at least around here, like in the Grafton area, anything like that, we can talk to someone, but a lot of times it's going to be going to their actual board meeting and saying this is an issue, you know, so I don't know if that, you know, if that's something that the city itself would have to, or if they have that specific department that's meant for parking, since it's a much larger city. Or they would be able to make that decision themselves without having to bring it to the board.
Okay. Yeah.
That's some research that's gonna have to be done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With the Radisson, as far as I know that they would give us the rooms for free as long as we're ordering food and such.
Mm-hmm.
As far as breakfast goes, would we be planning on providing some sort of light breakfast for them then? Like, I mean, we used to do our emergency management conferences there for years, so they always had, you know, fruit, muffins, you know, pastries, that type of stuff that was just simple. Or if we didn't want to utilize that and just utilize our main meals, would they allow us to bring in our own to set up for breakfast?
I think from talking with the venues, and I know I'm just jumping into some of the meetings, so I don't think you all have dove real deep into the proposed agenda that I did, but Monday would be reserved for a setup day. Maybe if the all group, the S group, if a board wanted to meet, I highly recommended that to get our volunteers in town. So some of them may arrive, like Crystal, you might come that, you know, on Monday, and we wouldn't let you leave then, like last year. And so we would keep you there on site on Monday. Production team would be setting up. I think we could probably get away with maybe ordering in pizza that day. But then when it comes to like conference days, if those are half day Tuesday, full day Wednesday, they're gonna want us to order in food. You would probably get more bang for your buck by saying anybody that arrives, you know, Wednesday morning, we have a light breakfast. You know, Tuesday, you're gonna have people traveling. So they would be on their own and whatever the state per diem with Julie's reimbursements, they'd fill out that paperwork. But you know, there's nothing to say that we can't talk about maybe moving the social offsite and, you know, doing a you know, pizza or something less expensive offsite. I also compared and contrasted the menus between the two. And I would say, just looking at current menus, now we don't have 2023 menus and we know pricing is going to go up. But 2022 menus, they were about $1 to $2 difference, Ramada being slightly less. So I just compared like club sandwiches. One was like $13.75 and one was $14.75, things like that. So and then for your Wednesday morning, I would say, yeah, do breakfast for everybody. But then we'll just have to put some policies in place that say, since we're providing breakfast at the conference, we encourage you to come and grab it so that they're not also hitting McDonald's or something on their way in and expecting to get reimbursed. If that
So we
makes
can
sense.
do it. We can talk about that too. So we could do the provide it, and the all group has to talk about budget because they got money from Power of 100, and they have to talk about how much they maybe if they want to help with the food, or the yes group. So we'll have to figure that out, if that could be something they could kind of help with. Otherwise, we can do the state rate, and we would have to, let's say we have 100 people register, we could order 100 breakfasts. You know what I mean? And then we'd have to kind of keep a tally and make sure we have people signed in and that kind of thing. But that's how we could do it to help.
So another thought I just had, so there is a restaurant at the Radisson. So would it be possible for, like, breakfast wise, for those who want the breakfast, to set aside and say, hey, here is their menu. Here are like 2 different breakfast options where you could go in and order through the Radisson 1 or 2 of these. So it's within that breakfast per diem rate, and then it be charged to, so that they don't have to necessarily pay for it day of. And if they want it, then they go there to get it, or they can call and order it from the room or whatever. And then it's already pre-designed, and then you have a better count.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yep.
There's some options there for sure. Yeah. And that's when I did my summary notes, which I know you all had. I think you reviewed them maybe in your November meeting or September meeting. You know, I had said one way to maybe save some on hotel rooms and meals is do a day and a half versus, 2 days. Power Up was a full day and Advocacy was a full day, just to allow us to get done early enough on Wednesday for people to travel back, and also start late enough on Tuesday for people to travel in to town. So hoping to see some reduced costs there. So I don't know, y'all. It is a horse apiece. I will tell you that Julie forwarded on all notes. I saw your very, very lengthy list of speakers. So if I just had to compare them apple to apple, I would pick Radisson for the simple fact that you can have more variety of speakers in the day and a half conference. I do see perks like accessible parking right there. I do like the proximity, how close the breakout rooms are at the Ramada, but there's only 3. So, I think both hotels would give us donate a space or gift us a space for a freshening room. I don't think that's an issue. That's probably what I would do, but it's your call. You want to take a vote?
Yeah, I think we should.
One of our chairs want to do a vote.
I need somebody to make a motion.
I don't think we need a motion in a committee.
We don't think so?
No, just take a vote.
Okay.
Just say if you want the Radisson, say aye or whatever.
If you want to abandon it or the other one, say aye. Nay.
Well, I think first we'll have to do them each one at a time. So
Okay.
start with the Radisson.
And refresh my memory again, which one's bigger? Or which one's got the bigger conference space?
Radisson has 5 breakout rooms, and their hall is actually a little bit smaller square footage, but it's got the taller ceilings.
Yeah.
Should we maybe, I'm seeing everyone pictured right now besides Deidre. Would we want to do a show of hands if that makes things easier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoever won the mountain raised his hand.
Which one?
The Radisson, you said?
The one downtown?
Radisson.
JC, I can't see your hand, so I don't know. Okay, it's up. Okay, thank you, JC. Okay, looks like that passed.
Okay. So we don't need to vote on the other one?
No.
It all passed, so I think you're good.
Yeah, it was unanimous.
Deidre, did they have those dates held still when we thought about going there? Were they holding those for you?
Jolene did have them on hold, but I can re-verify with her. Yeah.
So that would be September, was it 18th, 19th, 20th?
Yes,
Yep.
that's what it was.
Yes.
Okay. We have to figure out the budget. So the DD Council budgeted 75,000 for this conference. So Deidre's amount to do the facilitation, then the remainder will be speaker costs, travel, hotel rooms, food. So Deidre will keep a running budget where we're at, and then the all group and the yes group will have to figure out too what they would like to do at their next board meetings. And if you could report back, so then we can build that into our budget, that would be great. So we can kind of keep working on that. I did send all of your speaker ideas from like the last meeting to Deidre, like she said. Sorry, I heard echo. Is it okay now? Deidre, are you on?
I am, thank you. I
Okay, so,
switched. My
okay,
computer
no
needs a
problem.
break.
No problem. Okay, so we sent Deidre that very long list and contact information. Crystal, can you please send Deidre the contact from that gentleman you know, since
Yeah.
you have that? Okay, do you have her contact info?
I have her email. Yeah. I'll send
Yay,
it.
perfect. Okay. So she'll kind of start going through that. Carrie, if you could also send Deidre, you'd made a lot of start contacts with people to see if they were open in September. But again, we didn't know dates or venue. So people kind of told Carrie, let me know when you got that settled and I'm open or whatever. So Carrie, could you send Deidre those
Yeah, I will
notes?
do that.
Okay.
Can somebody send me the speaker list? I like to see that. I wasn't at the last meeting.
Chaz, I started, that was one of my questions logistically. I started a Google Drive last night. I put a master database in there. I can give anybody access. I would just, if you make any changes, put your initials behind it, or I can make, I can just request it's read only instead of editor.
Okay.
I can
Yeah,
give you
that'd be-
access to that. I don't know if everybody wants it or just a couple of you. It's totally up to you.
It would be great if I also had it, just so that I can keep track of the things that I have in my head.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Awesome. So Deidre, we got a venue and some dates, hopefully.
Yep.
What's best for next, do you think? Like, how frequent should we get together? You can send that out. What are we thinking, monthly, or do we need to go quicker for a while since we're a little behind? What's your thoughts?
I'll do a doodle poll for probably mid-January to do another touch base. Where I can work on all things speakers, start doing those asks and negotiating, and then report back as we get those. Also marketing. So one question, I wanted to make sure the name of the conference. So we had Power Up and we had Embrace Your Voice. Now is the conference called Self-Advocacy Conference?
Good
And
call. We gotta name it.
And
I mean,
are we gonna have a theme?
Right. Okay.
Because
So we can
had,
talk
what was
about
the
that.
theme last year?
Okay, so we can talk about that in January. I didn't know if you had made any decisions. And then production company. So now that we have venue, Julia can work on getting some bids for production.
Yep.
For
So
this.
for production, that would be just so everybody is aware, we decided not to do like virtual and live in person because it was very expensive. So we did want production there though to film sessions so we could save them and put them on YouTube or share with participants later so you can go back and revisit it. So there will be a cost, it will be cheaper, but we're going to try to find someone to be there to just film those so people can get access at a later time.
And just tech support and sound. So I personally think I read through all your notes. I know you still want tracks, you want family tracks, self-advocacy tracks. So I think we're sitting good, at least for a couple weeks. And so we can meet again in mid-January. Now that I just am caught up, I'll work on some speakers.
And then if you want to just share out the doodle or not doodle, your Google Drive, Deidre, and then we can all look at it if we want. Just make sure, like she said, if you add something, put your initials so we don't lose anything.
Okay.
Those are kind of all my outstanding questions right now, though.
Deidre, would you use Shelly again for marketing?
Some of that kind of depends on what we name it. If we need to design a new logo or not. If we keep kind of the same logo, then it would probably make sense. But we could open it up as well. I know that there's another woman that is connected to this community. I'll just say that without giving out too much information, that approached me and she's interested in maybe helping. So if we need a new logo design, then we might want to open it up and see who else wants to be involved.
Oh yeah, it was Embrace Your Voice last year, wasn't it?
It was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
I was thinking empower or embrace. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, so that was the theme. So that would be changed this year.
You could choose to keep it again and
Or
say
we
embrace
could.
your voice again, or whatever the group wants really, or yeah, it's really whatever you guys feel. If you want to kind of blend power up and embracing your voice together, or just sticking with embracing your voice.
So there is no Power Up conference anymore. This is.
Yes. Well, yes, we're going to take on the combo of adding self-advocacy and health topics all in the same conference.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
That's why it's 1.5 days. Yes.
Got it.
So we're going to be
Oh.
masters of our health and our own voices.
And so we could get a lot more speakers that we want.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the Radisson, because you can have 2 tracks going on about health, you can have 2 tracks going on about advocacy.
That's why we're at $75,000.
That's why. And taking it in-house, the council funding it, we can pay one staff person, Deidre, or coordinator, vendor, whatever, the planner, and then we can hire out more national speakers that way.
Okay.
That was the thought behind it, is having more freedom in the budget to bring in more people from outside our state to really, educate people and give a broader perspective. So
Okay, well,
that was
that
the
being
thought.
said, Carrie, then one name I'm gonna send you and Deidre, that might actually be doable.
Okay.
Okay, JC, if it's a $70,000 speaker, that might be
No,
too
no, no.
much.
No,
No,
it's not.
I'm just teasing. But that was our thought, Chaz, is just
Okay.
having more outside people be able to come to our state was the hope.
Okay. Sounds
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah. And then in January, one big topic will be sponsors. And I know not everybody has heard my spiel, but when it comes to fundraising for events, you all are the best voices for that. I will be happy to intervene and answer any questions a potential sponsor or partner might have. I'm happy to do an initial ask, especially if there is no relationship with an organization. But I will do a little activity and ask all of you to think about anybody you work with, you're related to, your insurance agent, to your where you get your car serviced, your church, and give you tools to go do that ask. It will go further with a personal relationship than it will be me as an event planner. So that'll be probably a good chunk of our time in January to build out what we want our sponsorship ask to look like. And then I'm happy to do like an off training with anybody that wants to practice or role play. And then we'll build out the marketing sponsorship tools so that we can give some deadlines. Because the more marketing or the more support we have financially sponsors, the more leverage we got too with things like meals, what our social might look like, entertainment, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Yep. Chaz, I'm pretty sure we both had the same light bulb go off in our head.
The eyes got big. Yeah. It's just like, oh.
Okay. Well, I don't have anything else, Julie, on my end. If anybody else does, we can certainly talk about it.
That was kind of the agenda for today. So the last point on our agenda was just other conference discussions or next steps, but Deidre kind of covered it. So any other thoughts, or if you have thoughts later, you should all have Deidre's contact in that invite now. You can certainly get it to her for thoughts moving forward.
I am so glad we got the comfort up and running now. I was afraid that we were gonna go way behind.
We're doing, Cheryl, we're doing great on time. This was the big decision, date and venue. We'll line speakers up from there, sponsors, marketing, all that good stuff. So I'll put my project plan together from here. But we've got the big decision made.
What I would like to do, I know they're going ahead of that stuff, but when we get to the conference, I know it's some conference, then they put up with the next year conference to get people genocide for the following year. So
Your 24 dates.
yeah. So
She's really thinking ahead.
oh yeah, and I'm gonna
I
make
mean,
sure that the
yeah.
PD can let
Right,
us keep control, cause that's what I was asking them. I go, nope, we need to do this. You could
Right.
help, but we need to do this.
I like the way you think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can work on that. Okay.
So
All right.
maybe we could, cause I know me and Dad work on a letter for. Did you get that to Julie yet?
Yes, I did.
For the all group, they kind of we're working on a sponsor letter too. So maybe you guys could bring that to this January meeting too, and we can kind of look through it and look at Deidre's example and yours and start getting that out.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, send it to Deidre.
If you want Yes to do that also, we can definitely do that just to compare and contrast.
Yes, please.
Do you have one?
The more sponsors, the better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do you have one, JC? Or
No.
do you want me to send you an example of the all one?
You can send me the all one and then we'll try and put one together
Okay.
so that we can have the more handouts you have, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and Carrie has that long list of who's tentatively open right now, so she'll get
Yeah.
that to you, and that'll help
Okay.
your legwork, Deidre, because she started it, but people really couldn't commit, of course, because they didn't know a date or anything, so they kind of said, yeah, September looks good, but let me know. So
Yeah, perfect. Okay, that'd be great. Thanks, Carrie.
And it's not during my emergency management
I know.
conference this year.
I know. That's
yay, that's good. That's even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we can expose it to the schools sooner than we didn't get to school until summer. And then, they were right back in their first 2 weeks or so. So hopefully we can get them marketing material even in May, if not earlier, but even before school break is my point, so that they can be counting on their students and aides being out those days.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll work on that.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everybody. Sorry the day after
Everyone.
Christmas, kind of. It was quickly
Oh, it
planned, but we
works.
appreciate it. We saw those hotels in 40 below and thought we need to wrap this up here pretty quick.
Yes.
So we appreciate it.
Well,
Yeah,
we got
sorry
it
I wasn't
done.
there.
We
That's
got
okay.
it done before the New Year, so I guess we are on track. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
was
Well,
a little
happy New
stuck
Year,
in the
everyone.
yard.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks. See you
Bye
guys.
bye.
Bye, everyone. We'll
See you
talk
guys.
soon.
Bye.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bye.